If this guy has business ideas already, I don't know if this is really learn programming. Hey everyone, Stefan here from Be a Python Dev, and we're going to be answering some questions on Reddit and other social media, maybe just Reddit. We'll see what we get around to. The first question I have here, C++ or Java for enterprise applications? I really want to get into coding enterprise applications for some business ideas I have. If this guy has business ideas already, I don't know if this is really learn programming. Like you kind of sound like you got some ideas of what you're trying to do, and maybe you're a little beyond just learning programming and you're more into like learning business, and this might be in the wrong forum. But maybe just like the main programming forum, you might get some better advice from. We'll go ahead and try to answer this anyways. Types of applications I really want to focus on are finance, blockchain, and database sectors. Usually if you're coding blockchain, you want it to be as fast as possible, so that would kind of lean towards C++. I don't know what he's trying to do with database sectors. Again, if you're just learning programming, you don't really want to create your own database, because that just seems silly. There's already so many good databases out there with MySQL, Postgres, and then all the NoSQL alternatives like MongoDB and DynamoDB, which I use a lot. Anyways, back to this question. I read Java could be good for finance applications like banking, but lots of people say it would be too slow. Yeah, that's true. I guess if you're doing banking stuff, you want it to be as secure and quick as possible. It doesn't need to be that quick as long as it's secure. I guess you wouldn't want to cash out $1,000 and just be sitting there waiting for it for thousands of seconds, because yeah, you get a little paranoid then. But Java's usually pretty fast anyways. I know a lot of actual applications that are written in Java. I think actually if we just go here, what websites are coded in Java? I know the one I'm thinking of. I don't know if I can actually say it. C# Bing. Yeah, this is what's wrong with Bing. LinkedIn is in Java, and LinkedIn has millions of users. So, I mean, Java's pretty good. Even eBay, where people are trying to snipe auctions with 1 second to go, that's written in Java too. Would it be good for creating your own databases? No, I don't think Java would be good for creating your own databases. Again, databases need to be extremely fast to serve things optimally. That definitely sounds like something you would want to use C++ for. Should I even consider debating the C++ or Java for these type of applications? Or does this come down to which language I like coding in more? Let's see what we can summarize here. This isn't going to be a huge in-depth answer. All right, so as we kind of said, Java is great for a lot of web applications. LinkedIn and eBay are both Java-based, as well as many other large websites. Having a front end based in Java seems perfectly fine to me. As for creating your own database, what is wrong with the options that already exist? Otherwise, for blockchain and actually writing your own database, I would heavily consider C++, as there is less latency than the alternatives that we just discussed, like Java or Python. You definitely don't want to write your own database in Python, since Python is heavily interpreted. Anyways, you can wire your front end and your C++ apps together using the JNI or sockets. Good luck with your business. All right, next question. Help on Big O. I was wondering if anyone knew of any resources or helpful tricks to be able to decipher and understanding time complexity, figuring out which to use when writing code, as well as being able to figure out what's used when reading code. I guess reading code is just inspecting something and then kind of understanding the approximate runtime. For those of you that don't know, Big O is a way to estimate your runtime. So if you are doing an operation on 1,000 elements in a list, if it's ON, you're doing 1,000 operations. That translates down into the instruction layer, and 1,000 operations, depending on what operations they actually are, might end up being like 3,000 to 5,000 instructions, and that kind of determines how long your algorithm will take to run. So obviously ON is faster than ON squared. O log n is even faster than ON. And if you have an algorithm that is O log n, then you're doing it in an exponentially less time than linear time, which is ON. So for example, if you're doing a binary search on 10 elements, you pick the number in half, and then you split that in half again, and then you split that in half until you actually find it. So for 10 operations, for 10 elements in a list, you're doing about four-ish operations, generally worst case. So that's another thing to understand with Big O. You know, they talk about it in worst case scenario and best case scenario. If you have a list with 100 elements in it and you are just happening to look for the first element in the list, it'd be O1, so that would be constant time. Or you do it on all the elements in the list, and that would be your ON time. So best case, O1, if your element is right at the beginning of the thing you're searching for. Very rarely happens, so it's not even really worth calling that the best case. So how do we summarize this to this guy? Let's go ahead and type that up. All right, so help on Big O, wrote up some answers, some simple use cases. If you are looking up something in a hash table, that's an average case of O1. If you have collisions, it could be bigger. If everything in your list ends up colliding, then it would be ON worst case. And if that's the case, you have a really bad hashing algorithm. Binary search through a sorted list is O log n, where you are dividing, conquering your list to search through it half and then half until you actually find the element in your list. Linear search through a list is just ON, even if it's not sorted or anything and you're just looking through every single case. Quicksort is O n log n, again, because you're looking through every element in the list and you're dividing, conquering that to do the sorting. I don't actually have the algorithm memorized anymore, but you can look that up, and then there's different kind of sorts. Some that are written to use memory a little differently. We'll talk about that in a second. Bubble sort, typically ON to the power of 2. That's where you're comparing every element in the list, and then you're swapping them with the other ones, and you're just going through swapping until you get to the end, and you know what the max is at each spot. The brute force traveling salesman. So that's if you have like 4 different cities and you need to know in what order the salesman should go to each of the different cities. That ends up being a graph traversal. It occurs in other different kind of graph theories that you may encounter when you're learning program if you haven't done it already. But if you're solving that brute force, it ends up being ON factorial, which is roughly equal to ON to the power of n, which is why brute force traveling salesman is very hard to do on a computer system as you add more cities, because it takes more and more computes and more time to actually solve. I think there's some ways to kind of estimate brute force or estimate the traveling salesman problem using machine learning and things like that. I haven't spent a whole lot of time studying into this, but it's something worth looking into. Anyways, when writing code, the best way to figure out how to write the most optimal algorithm is just by writing lots of code. You could try solving medium and hard problems on LeetCode, for example, and read through the discussions on the problems to read the time and space complexity analysis yourself, and then study why they use which. In some cases, you will want a slightly slower algorithm to better use memory on the system. Like if you're on a low power embedded system with limited memory, such as like a smartwatch or like even headphones that have like built-in things in it, you might do different things that you wouldn't normally do on an 8-core processor computer with 16 gigs of RAM. It's important to evaluate the trade-offs and why you're doing what you're doing, especially if you are in a low embedded space. Anyways, yeah, good. Next problem. It looks like while we were writing the second answer, the person from the first one actually responded back to us. When I said the front end in Java, I didn't actually mean like the front end. I more meant the web technology stack, as in the front end to the entry point of the application. Most of the blockchain based, he's considered C++ over Java. It sounds like he was already on the right track there. Also, it looks like we heard back from Bacon just now. He said, great information. We'll obviously need more practice. Thank you. Let's go into the comments on this one. And let's leave him something else. No problem. Great luck on your coding journey. And why do I keep opening this folder? Feel free to follow my YouTube channel, where I'll be doing more coding challenge videos over the next several months and breaking down the runtime, well, no, the technical complexities of the problems in the videos. I feel kind of bad shamelessly plugging my channel, but why not? I mean, it's not shameless. I am generally trying to help and interacting with anyone that watches my coding videos. If they think I did something wrong, then I'm happy to hear from them and learn from them as well. So definitely just learn as a community. Anyways, so let's get this channel link. I don't really want to view as a subscriber because I'm sharing this with someone that hasn't seen my thing since I don't have that many subs. And I guess if you're watching this, then you're on YouTube already, and it'd be really cool if you did subscribe. So there's always that. If not, then, you know, thanks for sticking around so far. I hope you've been learning, and I hope this has been semi-entertaining. All right. Maybe we can get one more question in. I'm not sure how long this is going to be after it's edited. So this is the first time I'm reading this question. Looking for first internships. This is something that hit home to me because the university I went to, they required internships to actually graduate. So let's see what this person says. Hi, I've been programming for about 8 months now, maybe longer, and I want to start building my portfolio. I'm a high school senior this year and wanted to know how I would be able to get an internship if possible. I'm right now working on a Hallmark project to show in an interview and hoping to finish it soon. If has any experience in this situation, please give me tips because I want to see if I can start early. If you're looking and need someone who knows React.js and React Native even better. It's really cool that he's looking at React.js and React technologies. It's great for making web applications that you can kind of cross deploy onto a mobile application as well using the React Native and kind of work within the whole little React domain. Cool for that. I don't know if I necessarily want to push someone to get an internship. All right, so what I said to this guy is, what's wrong with going to college to finish up a computer science degree? I guess it's not even finished, just like start and get one to start a computer science degree. You know, most software engineering degrees require internships anyways, and they have career fairs and career counselors and other great resources. You know, if you talk to upperclassmen and the upperclassmen just got done interning somewhere and then they maybe know that that company is going to be branching out and looking for more interns for this certain project, and they can kind of get you in the door that way. So you have networking opportunities within college too, as well as just learning more about the fundamentals of computer science at a deeper level that most top companies would appreciate anyways. So great opportunity to get in contact with great companies there. And if you don't want to go the traditional route, you know, and this person's really into kind of doing his own thing, you know, you could look into personal branding, starting a YouTube channel, building yourself up on Twitter, reaching out to people that way, different networking events like meetups when we're not going through this coronavirus stuff. If you're watching this 2 years from the future, hopefully coronavirus is behind us. You know, and just like direct DMing managers on LinkedIn. My managers at my organization, I hear them getting DMs from people that sound really qualified, and we've interviewed a couple and they've actually gotten jobs that way. So taking the initiative to just show what you want, a lot of managers actually appreciate that. So just like give them links to your React projects and express your internship interests, kind of what your career goals, what you can contribute to the role in the company, and why you're interested in the first place. So good luck with doing that, and sent. All right, so that'll be it with a software engineer replying to people on Reddit. I guess we actually had quite a few questions and got some useful discussion. If you like this format of video, let me know in the comments and I'm happy to do more of it. And have a great rest of your day. Bye.